Hello and welcome back, fellow bad strategists. Last time I had a rush to conclusion as I started talking about priests. Okay, Apocrypha Paladins. They only embed with one unit, I think, but they increase your attack score by like 100 points or more, which, as you can see, we don't have a ton of attack on our tanks. We have 444. So if you increase your attack score by 100 points, you're doing a lot of work, and if you did that on infantry, then... well, I mean, you're basically turning the infantry into Galactic Republic type infantry with lower firepower, but with that high attack score does a lot. There are also these blue priests I don't remember the name of, and they increase your I think they increase your counterattack score really high, or maybe. Anyways, if you boost your attack and defense, I think those are the strongest priests you can get. The morale priests, I don't know. If your morale's low enough that you're having trouble attacking, probably your readiness is pretty low too. And if your readiness is that low, you probably shouldn't be attacking to begin with. So I'm not entirely convinced by the morale priests. I think maybe they were
negative to breach.
when I was performing armored buggy rushes, because buggies have a tendency to retreat. Armored units like proper tanks don't tend to retreat though. Okay, also what we're gonna do is a strategic move. It kills our readiness, but it's gonna save on fuel. I'm tempted to just leave the Crusaders up here. I'm tempted to, but I won't. I will replace them with some machine guns and some guards as soon as I can, and then we'll feel much better about things, because our tanks will not be wasted holding a front. You really want to hold fronts with infantry. That is kind of what they are here for.
Order received.
And so he recruited 1,000. So we're basically doubling the recruitment by getting the extras. Oh, it happened. I was worried it was gonna happen. Okay, here's what
Standing by. Order received.
Here's what we're doing. We got money. We can afford it. Although our money is at 1,000 lower than it was last time I checked. Well, maybe I should pay more attention. We're gonna pay the colonists a bit.
Order received.
That should help them to flow in.
Copy that.
We will always raise meritocracy because we will always need to. Cultural exchange. People like it more if we say yes.
Roger that.
So. You do have to be careful because declaring war on someone who really likes you, it hurts your loyalty, and loyalty is like long-term happiness.
Yes.
I'm also becoming less convinced with bureaucratic push because the returns are non-linear in a weird way. So like for example, as your BP rises, the efficiency of you lose a percentage of it that increases, right? So it's something like every time you double your BP, no, I don't know how to express it in mathematical terms. Basically, it's a quadratic equation, and at like 10,000 BP, you lose half of it, something like that. And we're only losing 38 right now, but the more we get, the more inefficient it will become. And then when you put BP into your organizations, I think they have an efficiency loss too, right? Like with 87 BP, we managed to create model design. 170. There is a cap on the efficient quantity of BP you can put into your councils, and I'm not sure. I don't see it now, so we must be under the cap. But I've seen it. I think it might scale with your admin level or something like that, but it was at 100 when I last checked it. It's clearly above that now. Yeah, so there are a number of there are multiple layers of factors which reduce the efficiency of your BP.
Standing by.
So that is something that makes me...
Standing by. Yes, sir.
I get skeptical of things. I don't remember where I started.
Yes, sir.
I am a little out of it today. Okay, we're gonna sit on these for a while. We'll push these into defensive units, probably. I don't think our armored units actually need them very much. We'll probably push these into infantry companies that are just holding the line, maybe machine guns, where they really might just retreat. But I don't think we're going to use them on our armored units anymore, because I just don't think they'll be worthwhile. I'm tempted. I am tempted. What are we designing? What did
Standing by. Yes, sir.
design? Okay. We need armor transports are low priority because we're mostly going to be building actual armor. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's a thing you should do if you do an assault gun rush that I didn't do. Design your variant of assault guns, and then upgrade it, and then upgrade it, and then upgrade it. And then when you have Mark IVs of your assault guns, build your first assault guns. And what it does is that will boost the engine score, that will boost the weapon score, that will boost the armor scores. If you have an incompetent model design leader, you might not boost any of the scores. They might all stay the same, but it's not unusual to see all of them rise, and you could potentially end up with an excellent model design leader with scores of 120 in every category. Even basic design can rise without field testing. But what that does is it increases the potential benefit of your field testing, so that the first assault guns you deploy, the first armored units you deploy, you can do it with light tanks too, they're going to be on the field a lot more. They're going to be on the field for a long time, because presumably they're not going to be dying because nothing can kill them early on. So they're going to get their field testing really high. So if you go down to Mark IVs, you increase the cap to the benefit from their field testing by 40 points before you even deploy them, or I guess it'd be 30 points before you even deploy them, and then by the time you upgrade them, they get really good. They get real good, because the first model, I guess it's is 110 the cap? No, it's 120. 120, so then it'd be 30, 40, 50. So if you deploy Mark IVs, then I guess you could get basic design to 150. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's roughly in the ballpark. I am tempted to. I'm going to. We're going to
Order
start another
received.
recycling facility. We want fuel. We really want fuel.
Roger
Starve
that.
for fuel. The AI does counter armored units. I will say that. They will counter your armored units, but they won't do it early game because they don't have the means to unless they're an advanced AI start. Yeah, these guys are not. They're like, And these guys are, we got a little red here, so they are probably starving, and there look to be fewer of them, though I think they're trying to reconnect. It's hard to say if they're actually starving or if they just, I think they're starving, and the AI follows the same rules as the player with a few exceptions. What do we need? Well, let's see, our light tanks are awesome, we should use lots of them. Our armored units are... Our Zions are okay. Light tanks are real good. We could definitely use better infantry across the board. We might just try to produce a more competent, like, machine gun. Well, do we care? Because what if we just transition away? Well, okay, so here's my argument. Here's what we're doing. We're going to go with a new model of infantry.
Yes,
the
sir.
reason we're going to do this is because even if we transition away, the order of battle HQs will tend to use some percentage of infantry. So we will always require some percentage of infantry, even if we're trying to produce a very like heavily machine gun focused force. Oh, he's too slow. We're also going to need to... So, I actually realized something else. You don't need to nationalize your transport hub. In fact, I think it's it's better if you don't nationalize your transport hub. And the reason why is because the transport hub is free supply. And what you can do instead is build a transport hub like here, for example, and then just have that propagate supplies for you. So instead of nationalizing your transport hub for 500 credits you might not have, you could build your own transport hub for 100 production and 100 metal, which is production is pretty valuable early on, but it might actually be a better option. You could also build it at a midway point between the destination and your city, and that might help. I'm not entirely sure if logistics work in a funky way there. If like, I assume they just like use logistics all the way along the route. I don't think it's something like they use logistics from the transport hub to your city and then from your city to the destination. I don't think they do that, though they might. If that even made sense. These mountains are really good for us. We definitely want to hold them defensively, but big factions tend to push over mountains. And they get free roads, but they tend to avoid building roads over mountains. So they'll build small... If we were fighting up here and we were expecting Pink to be a very powerful faction, they might build a road over. If we took territory from them, we might expect them to build a road over like a single tile of mountains at a time, but you wouldn't expect them to build a long mountain road. I think the AI has some like weighting in their logic against building roads over mountains, even though it's free for them. So much fuel shortage. So much fuel shortage.
Negative to breach.
Yeah, so also, don't trust the odds calculator when you're attacking encircled units, because encircled units don't route easily, and that is enough for them to win the battle, most battles handily. Okay, here's what I'm thinking.
Order received.
We got a few more colonists, 1,200 instead of 900. We'll call it 20% more because we got 1,000 the turn before that. We got this recycling. We're gonna get this recycling soon. I'd like to build another recycling, but I like light industry even more. We finished our high command, and that's good. We'd like bureaucrat 3s, but we want light industry. So I think what we do... Oh, it hurts. I kind of want to start another recycling. No. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let this one finish, and then we're going to build a light industry off of the metal we get from it. I think that, yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, this is a very heavy focus on interior council.
Affirmative.
But we do need leaders, so...
Roger that.
Sure. I don't know who you are, and I probably should check, but we're not going to. Spies. I would like to know what's going on.
Roger that.
That's a bit too large a territory for my liking.
Yes.
Juniors. Military
Yes.
officers. Okay, so they don't want to...
Mission accomplished.
Hopefully that is enough to hold. We won't move the armored units up. We will prefer to hold with infantry if we can. We can't really strategic move because we don't really have the logistical points, but now that we have proper armor up here, we should be able to push these guys back. We'll buy more fuel.
Roger that.
It is burning our credits, and we don't really want to do that. Oh, good value, though.
Roger that.
You know, I am tempted to...
Standing by. Order received.
Yeah, we're gonna up the 500. Alright, I'm gonna... 500 credits. Wow, we did up the public budget a lot.
Order received.
No wonder our money's draining. Well, that's actually good. That's probably why our happiness is raising through all of this. I'd like to get happiness up here as well. Ooh, there's a union chief. Yeah, we're gonna up our public budget to like 200 over here.
Copy that.
That should hopefully get our happiness increasing, and what we're gonna do is every single turn we're gonna pay 3
Copy
PP
that.
here, and another 5, which is 8, which is very expensive,
Copy
to
that.
gain 1 point of government, even though we're gonna fail every time. And that 1 point of government is gonna be meaningful, because actually, we only need to do that for so many turns before before intensive worker training is capable of being unlocked. At 80 in government, it's a 1% chance, and each point over that is another 1%, so at 85 it's a